Here I am, once again, feeling lost, but now and then. Okay, yep, that was my intro. If you ever watched Victorious, I doubt you have. So here we go. What did we do? Wide grip lat pull downs, loving those. Single arm neutral grip machine rows. It's almost perfect. I wish the machine had just a little bit more range of motion, but it's still pretty good. Then I did machine rows for the upper back, which I love on that hammer strength row machine. Easy bar French press, that's probably my favorite tricep exercise. Single arm cable tricep push downs, also excellent. Lat prayers, which I was not a big fan of until now. Kind of loving lat prayers, to be honest. And then I did some barbell shrugs, which honestly I'm thinking of phasing out soon, just because I need to put a little bit more emphasis on my mid and lower traps. But let's talk about what's going on. So, when we're talking about exercise, like we usually do, let's talk about a little bit more how catecholamines work. So, let's see. Insulin concentrations could drop 50% as intensity passes moderate level. That's what I have written down. So obviously you're going to have an insulin down, glucagon up, because our glucose is gone. It's going away. Our catecholamines, epinephrine, norepinephrine, are going to bind to the beta cells, our beta receptors on the alpha cells to increase glucagon, and the alpha receptors on the beta cells to decrease insulin. So our plasma glucagon going up, plasma insulin going down, and our liver is going to be stimulated to perform glycogenolysis. So we're going to be chopping up glycogen to produce glucose in there. And also during submaximal exercise, epinephrine, norepinephrine are going to stimulate triglycerides to turn into free fatty acids, so the plasma free fatty acids are going up. And yeah. So basically, we're trying to increase the plasma glucose and spare it. But I wrote an interesting thing down. If insulin is decreased and we have decreased glucose absorption by tissues, how can muscle utilize glucose? Right? Because insulin is what allows us to use glucose. So, blood flow to the muscle tissue is increased dramatically during exercise, delivering more insulin and glucose than at rest. Also, redundant with calcium signaling and GLUT4 increase during exercise remains post-exercise to help restore muscle glycogen. So basically, that's something that was confusing me. Is like, okay, if insulin's going down, how are we getting sugar to our blood so it can perform glycolysis, right? Well, that's it. Basically, we're shunting blood from the viscera during exercise. So how do we do that? Basically, we have selective vasodilation, vasoconstriction, and that's really what's going to control peripheral resistance, which is kind of it goes into our blood pressure. So when we think about that Q equals HR times SV type thing, peripheral resistance is something that's going to, like, if our blood pressure is super duper high, our afterload is going to decrease our stroke volume, which is going to decrease our cardiac output, which is not what we want. But during exercise, we have vasodilation and increased heart rate, so it's able to overcome any increase in blood pressure that we would have. That's why we don't die partially. What else do I want to talk about today? Yeah, let's think post-exercise. I mentioned post-exercise there. So we have that increased delivery of nutrients to muscle tissues that lingers post-exercise. But once our vagal tone is going to take over though, and we have like a natural sort of like lower resting heart rate, then we're kind of returning back to baseline because our sympathetic nervous system is shut off because we don't have as many stressors. That's why it's important to limit stress post-recovery. That's why you don't want to drink caffeine and increase, the stress on your body in a sense. Because I'm pretty sure, I read this somewhere, but caffeine kind of acts as a stressor on your body. It can, increase anxiety. If you're anxious, that's stress on your body. Epinephrine, norepinephrine increased. If you're not able to return to that baseline, you're not going to be able to take advantage of the anabolic stimulus you just had in the gym. But not really a banger of an episode today, but whatever.